Hello everyone, Vegan Mark here. I've done a video on minimalism which has been fairly popular so far, and I would like to talk more about minimalism and what I call the virtual side of life. It's virtual because I have to do a lot of imagining in my life because I don't have the real things at my disposal. So things like companions, companion animals, companion kids, a companion partner or relationship. Things like sex, not having sex, not having access to someone who I could have sex with, not knowing anybody who I could have sex with. Things like travel, not being able to travel very far, or not willing to travel very far because I want to stay at home, or because I feel restricted in my mobility. And also things like not having consumer purchases and doing things during the day which are pretty basic and often conducive to boredom and so on. So the first thing is companions. I don't have any children, and I never will, because I choose to be child-free. That's a very important tenet that's the fundamental tenet of being an antinatalist, and in my opinion a vegan antinatalist as well. And I think that having pets is also, or what people call companion animals, is also not an ethical choice. So having a dog, for example, takes up a lot of resources, and obviously it's good to have a companion dog. For some people it gives them a lot of joy, but for the dog itself it's like they suffer what people call Stockholm syndrome. That is, they are captives of the humans which look after them. So they don't have a very good life. I guess they don't have a bad life in some cases, but in many cases they are mistreated and often become an extraneous object to the family or to the individual. And for that reason, having a companion animal, in my opinion, is unethical. Also, having children is unethical. In a world which is so terrible, which is fraught with dangers and hardships and so on, bringing children into a world like this is just not realistic. So I live in a world in which I imagine having children. Perhaps I imagine having a relationship with a partner or something, and I don't have these things in real life. So my imaginary world is probably very rich, and much richer than a lot of other people's, because I'm imagining all these things. I'm imagining that I have girlfriends on the internet or something, and I do have relationships with virtual people, virtually on the internet, on Facebook and stuff, and that keeps me going. But it's not the substitute for the real thing, of course. It's not the same as having a real girlfriend, or having real sex, or having even a sex robot or something like that. In regards to travel, I do travel a lot within Brisbane. I find that taking the buses and the trains and walking about a lot is giving me a lot of pleasure, and it's something that I do to keep me somewhat sustained and keep my psyche going. So I find taking buses very therapeutic, to be honest. I find that taking a bus to somewhere like Chermside or Garden City and just walking about the shopping centre for a while is a good way to exercise and a good way to stretch the limbs and stretch the imaginations and just look out the window to the scenery and enjoy everything that nature and the urban environment has to offer, even though the urban environment, of course, is not very attractive sometimes. But I get by, and I think that walking about a shopping mall is a very good thing sometimes, and it keeps the blood going and the juices pumping, and allows me to structure and shape my day. If I get bored, which I do very easily, I will often go to the library or read a book or do my law studies or write an essay or do something like that, just write poetry or something. So it's good for me to do that, and I get by on doing that sort of thing. I don't buy, as I mentioned, I don't buy very much at all. I have made a few important purchases this year, such as the purchases of the digital camera which I'm now using to film this video. But I don't engage in purchasing anything expensive, like an expensive coat or something that makes me feel very happy. I have a lot of shirts now, which I didn't used to have, but most of those shirts are pretty cheap, and they're not luxurious, extravagant items. So I don't spend on myself extravagantly at all. In regards to my other occupations, I do have a computer, I do have access to the internet and stuff like that. But I didn't have access to the internet for many years when I first came to Brisbane, until recent years when I started to use the internet for my law studies and for just leisure purposes. It's become a little bit of a bad habit for me to wake up in the middle of the night at like 2 AM or something and start using the computer for use of the internet, or for just surfing the Facebook or something. It's not something that I recommend to people who want to maintain a good metabolism and avoid chronic fatigue. But it's something that it's a habit that I fall into, and it's just a bad habit which I will hopefully try to contain and control by not using the internet at strange times of the night. So in terms of other occupations, I do have sometimes a casual day job of teaching English to English as a second language students. I occupy myself by using the computer a lot and making videos like this and connecting with my virtual online community. So it's not the best lifestyle in the world, and I do get bored quite easily. But at the same time, I realize that I am looking after myself in as best as I can by looking after my health, eating a vegan diet, going out as much as possible during the day, going for a swim if possible, and just doing the things which make me happy. So that's my life, bro. And hopefully I've shown you a little bit about how I live my life. And if you'd like to email me or send me a message, that would be very, very, it would make me very happy, and I will be very happy to respond to you in those aspects. So thank you very much, and bye for now.